What's going on, Vinyl community? It's your boy Ryan Webb back with another video. Now today I wanted to show off my Prince vinyl collection. For those of you who may be new here to this channel, Prince is my all-time favorite artist. He's just a musical genius. He never released a bad album. Even his lesser albums were at least had a couple of really good songs on them. And my favorite album of all time is also his album Sign of the Times, which I did a whole video on back in June. So if you're hungry for more Prince content after this video, go check out that video. You got 18 minutes of me talking about Sign of the Times and why I love it so much, and it's my favorite of all time. And I thought, why not do another Prince video? So I'm going to show off all my Prince albums. I got a couple of 45s, and I've got a few of his little protege projects as well that we're going to show at the end here. And I'm going to try and get through these rather quickly because my last couple of videos have been a bit long. One of them was 20 minutes. My vinyl time was like 35 minutes. So I'm going to try and make this video a little bit shorter, but at the same time, you know, Prince is my favorite artist, so I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up rambling about some of these records. And also if this video ends up being 20 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, let's just get into the video or into the collection. So first up, we've got, start with the 45s, and we've got You Got the Look from Sign of the Times, of course, with the B-side Housequake. This is on Paisley Park Records. Two amazing songs on this 45. Love them both. And then the last 45 I have by Prince is Nothing Compares to You, his original version of it. As we all know, this song would be covered by Sinead O'Connor, but his original version was released a few years ago, I believe, and they released this 45, and the A-side is the edited version of Nothing Compares to You, and the B-side is the full-length version, which I will admit I was a little disappointed by whenever I first got this record because, I don't know, I was hoping they'd put something interesting for the B-side, not just make it the same song, but edit it down on one side and full-length on the other side, because like the edited version is only like 10 or 15 seconds shorter, and it's not all that, I don't know, the edit's just not too different. They should have just made it the full-length version as the A-side, and then put, I don't know, something like Purple Rain, 1999, or one of Prince's other B-sides, like Erotic City from that time, or 17 Days for the B-side, but oh well, it is what it is. I still love his version of Nothing Compares to You a lot. Now we get into the albums. So we start off with his very first record, For You, from 1978. And this one features Prince playing all the instruments and producing it all by himself, and of course writing all the songs, which I believe he was only like 19 or 20 at the time of recording and releasing, which is very impressive for someone of his age to do. I mean, most artists at that time didn't even get to produce their own first record, and meanwhile Prince is doing literally everything on this record. And it's pretty impressive for a debut album, whether you're a Prince fan or not. You have to respect how he made his records and how he was able to do everything on his own. This one, it's not a favorite of mine, but it's still got a lot of really good songs on it, like For You, In Love is my favorite, Soft and Wet, Just As Long As We're Together, and I'm Yours is a great closing track. Still a really good debut. Next up, we've got Prince's self-titled record from 1979. Now, this one I definitely think is better, excuse me, than the debut. This one might be my top 10 Prince records. I mean, this one just has so many good songs on it. And of course, it was produced by Prince. He plays all the instruments, writes all the songs. Just doing what Prince always does, and he does it best. And the big hits off here are I Want to Be Your Lover and Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad, but it's also got some really good deep cuts like Sexy Dancer, Bambi, Still Waiting, and it's got I Feel For You, which would be covered by Shaka Khan in the 80s, if you didn't know that. It was originally written by Prince from this record. Next up, we've got an amazing album, Dirty Mind from 1980. This one was his first real critical success. It's got a lot of great reviews, and it's an amazing album, of course. And this is the first record where Prince doesn't play every single instrument. Dr. Fink, he plays synthesizer on Dirty Mind and Head, and Lisa Coleman, she does co-lead vocals on Head. So even though Prince does almost everything, he still features a couple of members of what would be the Revolution. And this one has it's 8 songs, but every song is killer. Dirty Mind, When You Were Mine, Uptown, Head, Party Up. I mean, this is just an amazing record. If you've already heard Purple Rain in 1999, this is definitely a great album to listen to after if you're looking to get into Prince. Next up, we've got Controversy from 1981. Now, even though I love Dirty Mind a lot, I think I actually might like this record a little bit better. It's just got so many great tracks on it. I love the title track, Controversy, Sexuality, Private Joy, Let's Work, Jack You Off. I mean, this is classic Prince. And it doesn't come with an inner sleeve, but it does come with a very, very, very dirty poster. Let me pull it out. Here it is. It's Prince in the shower in his bikini bottoms. Of course, you gotta love Prince, just being Prince. If you happen to hang this album up in your room by any chance, let me know. I'd be interested to see who all has hung up this poster, because I mean, even for like poster standards, it's a pretty dirty poster. I don't know why I feel the need to wonder why if people are hanging up this poster in their walls or not. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but great album, great Prince record, amazing. Next up, we've got an album that you may or may not have heard of, 1999, released in 1982. This is, of course, the record that essentially broke Prince into the mainstream. It's got 1999, Little Red Corvette, and Delirious all on side one, which are Prince classics, but it's got so many other great tracks like Let's Pretend You Were Married is my favorite, Dance Music, Sex, Romance, Automatic, Lady Cab Driver. I mean, this is just iconic Prince. Here he is, The Revolution, lyrics. And of course, it's not a Prince record if he's not doing something dirty on it. So here's that, and then the lyrics for record 2. Yeah, if you're looking to get into Prince, this is definitely one of the records you need to start with. I mean, it's just iconic. If you haven't already heard the songs on it, I mean, this is just a big record for Prince. And it's a really great one as well. And next up, we're getting to a record that you may or may not have heard of as well. It's called Purple Rain, and it was, I believe he made it for some movie. Was that movie called Purple Rain or something? I don't know, let me know. But yeah, Purple Rain, of course, you all know it, you all love it. It's literally his biggest record. It's got all of his biggest hits, Let's Go Crazy, When Doves Cry, I Would Die For You, Purple Rain, but it's got great deep cuts on it, like The Beautiful Ones is my favorite track on here. Darling Nikki was the song that really was the reason we have parental advisory stickers on our records and albums. Baby I'm a Star is a great song. I mean, if you have at least one Prince record in your collection, it's probably this one, because this is, I mean, if 1999 was one that broke him through to the mainstream, this is definitely his biggest record of all time. I mean, everyone knows the songs. Just iconic Prince. And I've got 2 copies of Purple Rain, but the other one is a picture disc that I managed to find a few years ago. It's a replication of, I believe it was one released in Mexico in the 80s. And yeah, managed to find it brand new. I don't listen to this very often because I'm not a big picture disc fan, but it still is a really cool thing to have. Next up, we've got what is a huge left turn for Prince, and that is Around the World in a Day. Everyone at the time of release, you could tell, probably thought Prince was going to just make Purple Rain 2 again, but he instead makes a complete left turn and makes this record, which is more of a psychedelic pop album mixed with that Minneapolis sound. And at the time, a lot of critics didn't like it. It kind of turned off a lot of people. And I will admit, at first, I didn't get this record too much, but after a while, I just have so much respect for this album, and it's got so many great tracks like Paisley Park, Raspberry Beret, Tambourine, America, Temptation. I mean, if this record doesn't grab you on first listen, give it a few more tries, and just, even if you don't like the music too much on it, you gotta respect that Prince, he wanted to try something new. He wasn't just gonna prove he was gonna do the same thing over and over until people got tired of it. And that's why I love him. He was always trying something new. You gotta respect that. Next up, we've got Under the Cherry Moon, which was the soundtrack to his movie. What was it called? Was it called Under the Cherry Moon as well? Or no, this record is called Parade, but it's the soundtrack to the movie called Under the Cherry Moon. I'm confusing things up, but I've never actually seen Under the Cherry Moon. I've heard a lot of bad things about it, but I know some Prince fans really like the movie, so maybe I'll have to check it out sometime. Because I do really like this soundtrack. It's got a lot of really good stuff on it. It's, of course, got the classic Prince song, Kiss, I'm sure you all know. And I really also like Another Lover, Hole in Your Head, Do You Lie, what else is there? Girls and Boys is a great song, and Mountains is also a fantastic track. I really like this record, it's very good. And this would also be the last record he did, The Revolution. After this record, he would fire just about everyone in The Revolution, except I think a couple members. But then after he fired The Revolution, we got what is my favorite record of all time, Sign of the Times. I don't need to talk about this record like I have with all the other ones because I've already got a whole 18-minute video talking about why I love this record so much. You know, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's my favorite record of all time. Just adore this album so much. Perfect album. And this pressing right here I'm showing you is the original from 1987. I've got 2 copies of it. And this one is the OG 87 US press. And then right here is the very first copy that I ever got back in 2016 for Christmas. And this was a brand new pressing of it. This one's usually the one I go to because it's definitely the sentimental favorite since this was the very first copy that I have. But I'm super happy to have both the original US, the newer pressing. I'm really hoping to find a Japanese copy of it as well. That'd be real cool. And I've also got the 12-inch of You Got the Look. So not only do I have the 45, I've got the 12-inch because I really like the 12-inch mix of You Got the Look. It's got this really funky guitar opening to it. And this one has the long version of it, the single 45 that I showed, Housequake, the B-side, the album version, and Housequake called 17 Minutes Moquake, which I absolutely love. Happy to have this in my collection. And those of you who know Prince know that he was originally going to follow up Sign of the Times with the Black Album, and he made that album but then was convinced at the last minute to take it back, I guess, and not release it because he thought the album was too dark and didn't want to have that album potentially be the last thing he ever releases if he were to, say, die after the release. That's actually what he said, that, you know, artists are remembered by the last thing they release, and he didn't want the Black Album to be the last thing he'd be remembered by. So he scrapped that album and instead released this record right here, Lovesexy, which I've heard the Black Album and it's really good, but this album is so much better than the Black Album, let me tell you. I mean, it's just so good. This is top 5 Prince albums right here. I mean, this album is just so good. It's a very positive, upbeat record compared to the Black Album. The Black Album was a lot darker in tone, whereas this one's more upbeat, positive. I Know, Alphabet Street, Anastasia, When Two Were in Love, and I Wish You Heaven are all great songs. This is a fantastic Prince record. It's, like I said, it's my top 5, and I love this album a lot. And along with Lovesexy, I've got the 12-inch single of I Wish You Heaven from that album. And the B-side to this one is called Scarlet Pussy. And it's technically, I guess, not a Prince song, because if you look at the single, it's credited to his alter ego, Camille. But yeah, Camille's Prince. And Scarlet Pussy, it's a good song, but it's definitely very strange if you haven't heard it already. Just a second. And now for the last album of the 80s, we have the Batman soundtrack, which I've never seen this Batman. I've been really kind of interested in it, mainly because of the Prince soundtrack. But I know Danny Elfman also did the score for it, and Danny Elfman's a great musician. But yeah, when I think of the 1980s Prince movie, I think of, or not 1980s Prince movie, when I think of the 1980s Batman movie, I think of Prince because of this soundtrack. And I can't say I listen to it too often, but it definitely does have a lot of great songs, like The Future is really good, Party Man, Scandalous is my favorite track on the album. It's so good. And then you end off with Bat Dance, which is a great song. This is a really good album, a great way to close off the 80s for Prince. And then we start off the 90s with the soundtrack to the Graffiti Bridge, which is the sequel to Purple Rain. Now, Graffiti Bridge, I actually have seen, and I can say it's not that good in my opinion. I thought it was just kind of okay. But the soundtrack does have a lot of really good songs on it, I will admit. The soundtrack is much better than the movie. And this is an original UK or European pressing from 1990, which is really cool to have. I don't have many original 90s pressings. Why don't these sleeves go in here? There they go. This has really good songs. I like Can't Stop This Feeling I Got. Joy and Repetition is my favorite song on here. Thieves in the Temple is really good. Melody Cool by Mavis Staples is a really good song. Still Would Stand All the Time. And the thing about this song, or not this song, this album, is that it's mostly Prince, but you got a few others on here. You got The Time on here. And there's this one song on here called Love Machine, which is The Time featuring some woman named Elisa. And as much as I really like this record, Love Machine is a terrible, terrible song. It's so annoying. They should have just taken that song off the record. It's not very good. And it really, I always find myself wanting to skip it because I just hate Love Machine so much. But every other song on here is really good. Really good soundtrack to a very okay movie. Next up, we've got, I believe this was 1991, 91 or 92's Diamonds and Pearls. And this is the first record featuring Prince and the New Power Generation. And this one also is an original pressing from the 90s. This one doesn't have anything on the other side of the sleeve. Here's the lyrics. And this it's a really good album. It's not one of my favorite Prince records, but it still has a lot of really good tracks. The main best ones, I will admit, on here are the singles, Diamonds and Pearls, Cream, Get Off, and Money Don't Matter Tonight. But I really like the opening track, Thunder, as well. This is a really good Prince 90s record. And that's also my last 90s Prince record. The next one I have is from 2007, or no, it's 2006. And this is 3121. And this is definitely also a top 5 Prince record as well. I mean, this one is just so good. I love the title track, Lolita, Te Amo Corazon, Black Sweat, Love, Satisfied, Beautiful, Loved, and Blessed. This is definitely Prince's best record from the 2000s, in my opinion. I love it. I love it. And here is that other sleeve. Put these back. And the cool thing about this one, this is a recent reissue from a couple years ago. It's on this really beautiful purple marble vinyl. That's just, isn't that beautiful? Look at it. It's a beautiful record. I could kiss this record right now, but I won't because that would damage the grooves. But yeah, like I said, this is an amazing Prince record. If you're looking to get into his stuff past the 80s, this is definitely one to check out. This one, Musicology, those are his best from the 2000s. And next up, we've got his record from 2014, Artificial Age. And this one is another amazing, amazing album. It's just so good. It's got a lot of great tracks on here. I love Breakfast Can Wait. What else is there? Clouds, the title track. What song is it? I believe it's called... crap, I'm having a hard time remembering. I need to listen to this album more often because this is a great album. This Could Be Us is what it's called, my favorite on this album. And Funk and Roll is a great song as well. So yeah, this is an amazing, amazing later Prince album. This was one of the last few he ever released because he, unfortunately, as we all know, passed away in 2016. This one was released in 2014, but this proves that even up towards the end of his life, he was still able to make amazing, amazing albums. And that's the last one I have of his released during his lifetime. But I do have one other Prince record to show, and that is the Piano and Microphone record from 2018. This one, what it is pretty much just Prince sitting at a piano, jamming out to some of his songs that either, I think most of them hadn't been released, wouldn't be released, and I think one of them had been released. Yeah, International Lover, I believe at this point, had already been released. And I mean, it's definitely a cool listen. You know, you get to see what Prince was up to, you know, maybe jamming out to his songs and how he wrote them. But at the same time, though, I can't say I've actually listened to this record ever since I got it, just because, I mean, the songs aren't complete, you know, it's just him messing around with them. It's definitely very interesting to listen to a time or two, but I mean, compared to all of his other albums where the, you know, songs are complete, this one's just, I mean, it's more of a thing you have if you're a real big fan of Prince like I am. So those are all my Prince records, but I did mention that I had a few of his protege albums, and all three of those protege albums are by The Time. I don't have any of the Vanity 6 or Apollonia 6. I'm kind of interested in them because I think they're good, but I don't know, I just wasn't as big of a fan of them as I was The Time. So, and I've got almost all of their records. I'm just missing their very last record, Pandemonium from 1990, but here is the first Time record, just simply titled The Time. Get Up is really good. Girl I really like, and Cool is also a really good song. This is a really good debut, but this is probably the one I listened to the least from The Time. And then we got my favorite Time record, What Time Is It? I believe this was 1981 or 82. And I mean, this one is definitely the best Time record. It's just so killer all the way through. Wild and Loose, 777, 9, 3, and 11. The Walk, Gigolos Get Lonely Too. I mean, I love this record so much. It's only 6 tracks, but man, does it kick ass. And finally, the last Time record I have is Ice Cream Castle from 1984. And this one has the 2 songs that he, or at the time, did in Purple Rain, Jungle Love and The Bird, which are 2 fantastic songs. But I also really like Ice Cream Castle's the title track, and Chili Sauce is a really goofy track / skit. What Chili Sauce is essentially just Morris Day and Apollonia talking. If you've seen Purple Rain, you remember that scene where him and Apollonia are talking, but then Prince goes on to play The Beautiful Ones, but Chili Sauce is supposed to be essentially what their conversation before Prince went on to play that song is. So it's very interesting, and much like The Time, it's just kind of a goofy song meant for laughs. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I love The Time. So yeah, that's been my entire Prince vinyl collection. I got a lot of stuff. I'm hoping to get some more things in the future. But for now, I'm pretty happy with my collection. And I said at the beginning of this video, I was going to try and make this video shorter, but it ended up going over 20 minutes, which I guess I'm not surprised. I love Prince. I've got so many records of his. Yeah, he's just amazing. Love Prince. But yeah, this has been my Prince collection. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.